Hey guys, Shadowz here, welcome back to another Gear 6 video. Today we're going to be discussing 5 legacy game characters I want to see return in Gear 6. War returns to the planet as humanity, the Swarm, and the Locusts battle it out in a worldwide global conflict that leads the humans of Sarah on the offensive against Queen Rhaenyra's forces as mysterious discoveries are made across the journey for survival in the war to end all wars. During the invasion of the Swarm, when Locust burial sites start becoming active with the Locust Horde re-emerging from their evolved state, the first to awake in the Scions, who intended to continue what they had started in the previous Locust War, began by seeking out a new leading queen and a promise made to exterminate humanity from the surface and claim Sarah as their rightful own. So far within the Swarm War, several legacy characters from both the original Gears of War games and the original Gears of War comics have made their return in the Coercion Studios Gears of War games. This includes
Welcome home, James.
Sergeant, how are you? Sorry about the door.
Don't sweat it. We were just leaving.
So we're clear, Sergeant. If you choose to aid these fugitives, I can't protect you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Son of a...
Marcus Phoenix being convinced to come out of retirement from the Shadowz estate by his son JD Phoenix with the discovery of the Swarm enemy and the Locust return, rejoining the COG as Sergeant, forming the new Delta Squad.
I'll remind you, your wife refused the idea of bringing the hammer back online. I would have thought you'd respect Anya's wishes.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. For both our sakes.
Anya Stroud, well, technically, kind of, not really, being spotted in a grave uncovered by her son JD at the Stroud estate. As a loving wife and mother, may she rest in peace.
What? You don't call, you don't write? Excuse me, what? Didn't I give you enough toys when you were a kid?
Oh, I've seen enough of your toys to last a lifetime, thanks.
His toys.
Kate, Dell, meet Damon Baird, CEO of DB Industries.
Damon Baird, using his engineering and mechanical expertise, becoming the CEO of DB Industries, creating the automated DBs as well as the Fabricator to help rebuild civilization in restoring the capital city in New Ephyra and establishing the walled settlements. With his DB robots starting off as construction workers, then security, and now a lethal force to protect the new COG and its citizens, playing a huge pivotal role against the Swarm uprising.
Hey, who loves you, Marcus? Whoa!
Been too long, Cole.
Yeah, about 10 years too long.
You remember James?
Yeah, I remember him being a lot smaller.
Everyone's small next to you, Uncle Cole.
Augustus Cole retiring from military life to become the president of the Coercion Thrashball League and settling down as a family man with a daughter in Hannah Cole. Of course, answers the call from Marcus to rejoin the fight and provide backup after feeling like he missed fighting the Locusts in a messed up sort of way.
And there's our ride.
I'm here, sweet cheeks. Ready to go?
Tell me your wife wanted to do this.
Sam and I aren't married. Special lady friend, please.
And she insisted on coming.
Samantha Bryan, entering a long-term relationship with Baird, although never officially marrying, accompanied him in becoming a part of Baird's new tech company DB Industries, following the Locust War in rebuilding the world and advancing technology. Once the invasion of the Swarm revealed itself, Sam became officially reinstated into the COG army as the King Raven helicopter pilot for Delta Squad.
Well, it's about goddamn time.
Holy shit.
What?
Show some respect. It's Colonel Victor Hoffman.
It's an honor, sir. A real hell of an honor.
Shared sentiment, soldier?
Victor Hoffman relocating to the island of Galangi after serving a life of nothing but military across the Pendulum Wars, the Locust War to the Lambent Pandemic, settling down with Bernie on her farm, enjoying the peacefulness of the South Islands, taking part in lives of Jazzy Tack and Hannah Cole. With the return of the re-emerged Locusts in a swarm as they began their invasion to destroy humanity after being forced to retire from his colonel title in a disagreement with First Minister Jin on how to handle the awakening Locust burial sites in the swarm hives, Hoffman decided to go off the books with forming his own squad Team Scorpio in secret and operating the new Highbuster initiative in similar fashion to Operation Hollowstorm by striking at the heart of the enemy.
Man, you kept a lot of people alive today, Sarge.
Ha ha! The grub killer returns, baby!
Grub killer, swarm killer, whatever. Yeah, rescued by my old trainees.
Uncle Clay.
Yeah, and now I gotta get up again.
Clayton Carmine, rising to the rank of Chief Sergeant for his heroic actions against Queen Myrrah during the Battle of Azura at the end of the Locust War, chose to remain serving in the COG army to train new cadets at the academy, using his experiences and his brother's deaths to teach the next generation, which he put straight back into action as the Grub Killer assisted the evacuation of Settlement 2 and rejoined his comrades in Delta 1 to fight against the swarm invasion. Jazzy Tak, the grandson of Pendulum Wars hero Baitak Grub, is a young Basanga at Anvil Gate during the Lambent pandemic, being looked after by Hoffman and Bernie, as if he was one of their own. That their family-like bond continued well into the Swarm invasion as Jazzy Tak serves as the King Raven helicopter pilot for Uncle Hoffman and Team Scorpio as part of the secret high buster initiative, playing a key role to its success.
Vasgar was independent. The UIR had the pleasure of occupying, no, excuse me, liberating this glorious land.
Okay, remember how I told you only pissed off nomads lived out here now? Meet Garen Paddock, the most pissed off and nomadic of them all.
This is your old UIR contact?
Two things I dislike, Baird. The COG and children. You've brought me both.
Two things I dislike? Old men and deserts. And yet, here we are.
Ha! I like this one. Follow me.
Garen Paddock, a major in the Pendulum Wars for the UIR, a COG private through the COG's Open Arms program in the beginning of the Locust War, to aiding the COG by reuniting with his old Kilo Squad comrades at the end of the Locust War by supplying them with boats, weaponry, and contact with the remnants of the UIR. Paddock decided to leave his military days behind him, rejecting loyalty to either the COG or UIR, assembling the Nomads that merely composed of like-minded individuals that desired to live their lives in the post-Locust War era, simply and freely moving from place to place across Serra, including the Vasgar Crimson Deserts. Now, despite many familiar faces already making their return from the original games to the new Gears of War story, there are still many legacy characters out there that have yet to reappear, so I wanted to make a video sharing 5 legacy game characters I want to see return in the Gear 6 campaign story.
Sam, Jace, get back to the ship and help them out. They need intel on where to land the troops.
But Marcus, you need us here with you.
It's not negotiable, people. Ship out.
Jace Stratton, a survivor of Emergence Day and a Corporal COG Gear soldier, served in a majority of the biggest battles leading to the end of the Locust War, including Operation Midnight, Operation Hollowstorm, and the Second Battle of Azura on Victory Day to defeat the Locust Horde. In the aftermath of the Locust War, Jace pursued a career in acting and filmmaking, with the new COG building New Ephyra and establishing the walled settlement cities. After some success, Jace founded his very own film company in Jace Stratton Pictures, producing the action film Frenzy, and also starring as NASA Embry in Embry the Musical, both premiering at Settlement 2. Seeing as how Marcus Phoenix mentioned that Jace could handle himself in the theater during the evacuation of Settlement 2, and the fact that Del Walker mentioned Jace to begin with, I believe heavily suggests that Jace Stratton was maybe planned to be included in the Gears 5 campaign, but didn't make it in time. It is very likely Michael B. Jordan will not be returning to voice Jace again, giving this story narrative reference of the character-like actor becoming a huge movie star, so Jace Stratton will either be voiced by Justin Shaw, who did younger Jason Ram Shadow, or recasted. But ultimately, Jace Stratton is the only named character in the newer Gears of War games so far that is yet to make a reappearance, meaning that Jace Stratton will be returning to the fight as a COG Gear in the Gear 6 campaign.
But this is just what we need, son. A small one's gonna be a lot easier to sneak into Azura. You see, size ain't everything. Don't you mind Dizzy none, sweetheart. Just gonna look you over and see what kind of shape you're in.
Dizzy Wallen, a former stranded turned COG Gear, joining the Coalition through Operation Lifeboat in exchange for safe asylum for his 2 daughters, played a key role in both during the Pendulum Wars, serving in the Merchant Navy, and his expertise in being able to fix any vehicle during the Locust War, proving to be instrumental in reaching Azura within a COG submarine to activate the Emulsion Countermeasure Machine weapon to destroy the Lambent and defeat the Locusts. While we don't have any information on Dizzy Wallen after we last saw him on the beaches of Azura with 25 years of peace following the end of the Locust War, Dizzy is likely running a rough-looking garage as a specialized mechanic, willing to fix anything anyone brings him as long as they are fine with listening to his bat-crazy war stories of his adventures with Delta Squad and the rest of the gang fighting the Locusts. Of course, Dizzy would be living with his twin daughters, which with Dizzy's return would finally introduce them as new playable characters to the Gears games in Teresa and Marilyn Wallen.
You're not Onyx.
I'm Onyx.
No, you're not, Cadet. Stay here and defend this area. The East Wing is getting hammered.
You want to know what happened to Sophia? Kidnapped while she was out on patrol. I watched it happen through my scope. I was only able to kill one of them. He dropped these.
Sophia Hendrick, a journalist in the Pendulum Wars turned Onyx Guard cadet just after Emergence Day, was assigned to Kilo Squad in the destruction of Halvo Bay, successfully defending the city and defeating General Khan and his Locust forces. Decided to leave the COG to travel with Garen Paddock, settling down in Halvo Bay, but she was kidnapped by former members of the COG state, with her fate being purposely left unknown. With the return of Garen Paddock as the story narrative revealing he'd been living in the Crimson Deserts of Vazgar leading the Nomads, it would be a perfect character development arc for both Paddock and Sophia if she was able to return and those characters reunite after decades, would bring some happiness, joy to what will be a war-torn Sarah back to fighting the Swarm enemy.
It's got Sophia! Sophia! No! Get up, Sophia! Sophia, I'm here! The Sire's got Sophia! It's got Sophia! Sophia! No! Get up, Sophia! Sophia, I'm here! The Sire's got Sophia!
That was very interesting is the fact that on a very rare occasion in Gears 5, when Garen Paddock is playing alongside other female characters, he will actually reference Sophia Hendrick, therefore suggesting maybe there were plans for Sophia to be added as a multiplayer character in Gears 5, which could mean her return might be expected in the Gears 6 storyline.
I didn't surrender this town in the last war, and I'll be damned if I'm going to abandon it to a bunch of glowy grubs now. Right, Bernie?
Yeah, we're too old to run. We'll just sit on the front porch and blow the shit out of anything that moves.
Bernie Mataki, a South Islander from Galangi, served in the COG army from the very start of her adult life during the Pendulum Wars, becoming renowned as one of the best snipers in the COG military, where she met her oldest dearest friend in Victor Hoffman, taking part in several important battles across both wars in the Battle of Shavad, the Battle of Aspo Fields to the Siege of Anvil Gate. After surviving the events of the Locust War and Lambent Pandemic, fighting to the very end by Hoffman's side till the activation of the Emotion Countermeasure Machine, defeating the Locust and the Lambent enemy. Following the Locust War, Bernie and Hoffman formed a life together, settling down at Bernie's farm on Galangi Island, where they remained close with all of their friends and their children, namely Jazzy Tack and Hannah Cole. Despite the Highbuster Gears 5 campaign DLC taking place throughout the South Islands as Hoffman leads the secret Highbuster initiative, that Bernie's current fate is unknown except for a photo of Bernie and Hoffman together at the beach on his desk. What's interesting is that this is clearly Bernie's farm Hoffman is operating out of, and there is the Gears of War 4 collectible being Bernie's last will and testament that does describe in the event of her untimely death that all of her worldly possessions, which would include the farm, are left to Victor Hoffman. Hopefully this doesn't result in another off-screen death like Anya Stroud, and that Bernie Mataki is out there scouting the mainland of Sarah for either the new COG or even Hoffman himself in figuring out the location of the main swarm hive, with Bernie playing a big role in Gear 6.
Mr. Griffin, sir, these car guys showed up and they did a great job on the Glowies. Now they want some fuel.
What the fuck are you doing bringing the COG here, into my city?
They killed the Glowies, sir. They just want some fuel.
Boy, get out of here before I lose my patience. So welcome to Griffin Tower, COG.
Aaron Griffin, a founder and CEO of Griffin Emotion Corporation, was a hard-nosed businessman throughout both the Pendulum Wars and Locust War, operating out of his main headquarters based in Char, becoming leader of the Stranded there, as he grew resentful for his people and his home city being viewed as expendable and scourged by the Hammer of Dawn strikes by the COG, leaving the buildings and Char's once living inhabitants preserved in ash. After barely surviving the attack on Char from Queen Mira and the Locust Horde being saved by Marcus Phoenix's Delta Squad, Aaron Griffin survived the end of the Lambent Pandemic and Locust War, looking to rebuild his empire starting in Char, focusing his efforts on rescuing survivors in the city and having it recognized as a sovereign state working alongside the new COG. The fate of Aaron Griffin is uncertain, whether or not Char was rebuilt to act as an independent city or if Griffin and the other Char residents were forcefully evacuated to live inside the new COG walled city settlements. with Ice-T more than interested to return to his role of voicing Griffin, and the character having a huge presence in the latest Gears of War Theorizing book novel, that Aaron Griffin will likely make a return in the Gear 6 storyline. It would be cool to see Griffin come to Marcus's rescue this time around, as the characters finally settle it after all, and maybe even start a friendship built off respect. Please make sure to leave me a comment down below telling me what you think. What legacy game characters do you want to see return in the Gear 6 campaign story? So there you have it, guys. Full details on 5 legacy game characters I want to see return in the Gear 6 story. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching, and as always, I shall see you in the next one.